Yeah, projectors. Um, this is the future, is projectors. Um, TVs are cumbersome. They burn in. I know people who've had every kind of TV there is, including the LEDs that aren't supposed to burn in, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, Mine didn't burn in, but it did have retention if you left it on there too long on something. And then there were other things you could leave it on there for 10 seconds, and for some reason it would have retention. You could play 3 hours of Borderlands and never move the menus, and when you would quit, there was no burn in, there was no memory, and there was no retention. So I never figured it out. It's just a quirk you had to live with. And I know people who have OLEDs who say they've never ever had a problem. Um, and I know people who said that, yeah, they had burn in. It actually came from their Windows, one of their Windows programs. So I think projectors are just the way to go, more adaptable. Uh, I'm still learning how to use this one, but it has some quirks. It's got some software quirks, but you guys know me. I never recommend anything that maybe two or three products. In many, many years, I don't like doing it. But I have lots of friends who are interested in projection TVs. And when I told them I was getting one, they definitely thought, okay, well, let me check yours out. Because they know I don't mind getting screwed being an early adopter. But I waited for a long time for this one, and I wasn't going to get anything until something was good that had 3D. And for me is probably color across the board being accurate is probably more important to me than anything else. You can set it up where it's running faster if you don't the 24 frames a second the way that the theater or the director meant you to see it. If that's you getting too much judder, you can always speed it up. Uh, it's color. That's what mattered to me most. And yeah, I'm extremely happy with the Tri-Laser. Very, 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 very 3D, friggin' amazing. The quality of the product, it's people have, is it Chinese? Yes, about as Chinese as your iPhone. You know what I mean? Very high quality. They just have some quirks. They need to fix the fact that it doesn't work with HDMI switches. And, the fact that you can get, online updates is pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't. I'll put it this way. If you're thinking about getting a projector, like a lot of my friends are, because we're at a period right now where TV screens have stopped growing at a rate where it's worth it to spend the money. To get a 120-inch TV you're talking a couple hundred grand, you know what I mean, for the performance I'm getting. So projector's the only way to go, period. And so I know a lot of people that are very, very interested in this, very interested. But the first time I tried to show it to them, it fucked up and I couldn't get it into frame packing. I didn't go through the cycle, you know what I mean? Now that I figured out how to trick it. And it's weird too, because sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But it should start in the last mode that you had it in. It should remember that. So next time you turn on your 3D, it should automatically be in frame packing. So that could be a cool update that they could do for us. You know what I mean? AWOL Vision. They've got 3 models. I'd recommend, if the quality is like the 3500, I would recommend any of their products. I have some of their glasses coming that should be here very soon, maybe Monday. And we'll see if they're any better than these. These are very incredibly reasonably priced compared to who's been ripping my face off with my Samsung glasses. Man, they were taking me to the cleaners, man. We're talking $80 a pair and shit, if you could get them. I was hoarding those big time because they broke so easy. The arms broke just a dime a dozen. I had all kinds of problems with the arms breaking constantly. They were so skinny and tiny for no reason either. I guess they were trying to make them light. You know what I mean? These are incredibly reasonably priced. We're talking like 80 bucks for 4 of them. Very reasonable. And they work well. They look nice. No problems. The lenses on these are so soft that paying $80 a pair is prohibitive, especially for kids because they right away put their hands up. So you need some sacrificial glasses for the kids, right? Yeah. I'm trying to critique it in the most terrible manner I can. You know me, I just don't like recommending products, but I think I'm kind of like patting myself on the back for the 2 years of research that I did, and then actually talking to somebody at AWOL, and it's like, man, these guys are pretty fucking cool. And that was part of the key of spending a lot of money with them, was that I'm pretty sure these guys are going to take care of me. These guys are pretty fucking awesome. Ask for Steve if you want to buy one. So anyway, it's now on my list because it's something I wanted, right? It's like when I was building drag bikes, I would recommend certain things, right? But most of the crap I had to build myself. This was a long time coming because nothing else was really going to satisfy me. Everything else fell just a tiny bit short. And when this one came along, before it had 3D, I was like, man, if that had 3D, I'd buy one right now. I'd buy one tomorrow. And then bam, they had 3D. And then I realized how expensive they were and I had to save up the money. Yeah. You guys know I don't recommend products, but before you invest in a big screen TV, anything, 100-inch TV, something like that, I would definitely look at AWOL Vision and see what they have to offer, like combos for a 2500 and a screen. You know what I mean? You can get easy for the price you'd pay for a TV. It's the color. It's the trichroma laser system. It's just the color for me is kind of like the good music in a movie, right? If the colors look right, it keeps me in the moment better, especially with 3D. What was I watching? Last night I was watching some Sherlock Holmes. It was like season 1, episode 7. He's wearing this green shirt. And their skin tones were perfect. And this is TV. Their skin tones were perfect. But his shirt was so green, green, green. I wasn't used to seeing green like that on my LED. It was green, green. And then when he turned and there were all these television screens with different colored items from red, blues, the colors were startling because I hadn't seen them in so long watching regular TV. You cannot beat having a pure red, pure blue, and pure green laser for your color sources. You can't beat that. As far as I'm concerned, there is no better system, period. So I would definitely look at it. 20,000 hour lifetime on the lasers. 20,000 hours. That's going to outlive me, and my grandkids will still be using it when they're in, when they're in their 20s. It's a lot of viewing time. That was another thing that drew me to it. And like I said, quality, fuck. It's like an iPhone. You can feel it, right? When you're holding it, and the way the plugs all plug in and just the quality build, it's amazing. But they just did some stupid shit like the compartment in the back for a Amazon Fire Stick. I know they must have had some kind of deal or something going with those guys, right? Because my Roku is plugged in back there. What I wanted to plug in back there was a HDMI switch, and it wouldn't let me do it. And I tried it in the other ports too, just to make sure, and it wouldn't let me do it. So it's refusing to operate with an HDMI switch. That is a big, big, big problem. That needs to be fixed because they only have 3 HDMI ports. That's the only drawback that this thing has. Software, we can fix that. Getting it into frame packing, that's no big deal. Really, it's not at all. It's limited in HDMI ports, and that is it. That is the sole and only single drawback that I can find in this system, period. Crazy, huh? That's it. It is just short HDMI ports. So they're going to need to, I'm going to call them Monday, ask them about the frame packing issue, ask them about giving an update that will allow us to use HDMI switches. I imagine that should be easy, right? It just loses signal. It's fine. It works on a switch with one input. And you got 5 open ports, or 4 open ports, or 3 open ports. I tried all of them. I tried manually selecting, and I tried auto select. And as soon as you plug in a secondary source into the switch, whatever you're watching on the AWOL vision is gone, and it says there's no signal source. So it will not work that I can see with a switch right now. What I have coming is a 2-way with a flip switch, so that I don't have to get up and manually change out HDMI cables whenever I want to go from my satellite dish to whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. They are just short HDMI ports. That is it. Everything else, as far as I'm concerned, they just smoked the shit out of everybody else, and it ain't even close. And you guys know how fucking picky I am, right? You guys know that. And people from the gamers page, especially, they know that shit. I am fucking picky. And for 3 days, I'm sitting here going, wow, that's the first time I've seen red on a TV. That's actually red. Holy shit, that's red. You know? But yet the desert's not overly red. The desert looks like desert, right? Blues, no banding in the sky. It's just amazing. I can't say enough about it. It's just fucking crazy good looking. Just think about it before you go to buy another TV. This is the future. I really think it is. I think that projectors are the future. You can go with any, whatever. The nice thing about this is if you buy the projector, you can upgrade your screen whenever you want for reasonably priced. You can build your own screen, right? It's not that hard to do. They have lots of frame mounted ones to use. I got the floor rising so that I could sequester it and hide it away and move it when we're going to be doing all the drywall work, because you do not want to get drywall in your screen grooves, in your little micro printing in there, because it will show up. So, yeah, wow, a rare recommendation. Only because I'm selling my friends, I'm selling some friends on getting these instead of getting big TVs this year. Pretty much all of them were ready to switch. They all kind of got 3Ds, and they all kind of followed me into the 3D thing way back in the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. They all bought into the 3D thing like me. My closest friends, they couldn't really afford that. They were still too young. They yeah, they thought, yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. How come it's not available anymore? That's how quick it was. 3D came and went, bam, bam. And then there were companies that were turning 2D into 3D. And I just heard they went out of business. Uh, Stabbed in the heart. Oh, fuck. Ah, that hurts. So now we're at the mercy. When you watch previews on, go to YouTube and watch anything with previews, and you'll see at the end when you see the credits that a lot of them are filmed in real 3D. It says right there, filmed in real 3D, because they might as well do it. It's not that much more of a cost to actually have it in 3D if you have the cameras. And again, that's for another story. That's about the greed that killed 3D, you know? But these guys all are like me. They want their racing hobby. They want their big screen experience. And like me, if it's a very, very high quality HD with extremely fantastic color, that for me is better than any 4K overly crisp picture whose color sucks. I've barely played around with this. I've tried a couple of things, and I went to reset because there were so many adjustments. It was overwhelming. The number of adjustments is just like, holy shit. But the red is friggin' red. The green is green. Blues are blue. Fucking amazing. So if you're thinking about it, you get the rare recommendation from me. The original Mr. Fucking Picky, man. You know? I mean, I'll pick it to death. And that the only thing I can find in these really is it doesn't work with HDMI switch. That's it. It's limited in HDMI ports with just 3. So, all right. I'm going to enjoy my movie.